It's time to get unstuck. Do you love listening to this podcast? I'd love to have you give me a 5-star review over on Apple Podcasts or on your favorite podcast app. And if you'd like to help me keep the lights on, I'd appreciate a donation. You can do that at livingmoonmeditation.com/podcast. Are you tired of feeling stuck? Let's shift your energy. Start with my free quiz I made just for you. You'll get personalized tips for getting unstuck based on where your blocks are. You can find it at bit.ly/getunstuckchakraquiz. I have the link in the show notes for you. Today we are going to talk about the spring equinox or the vernal equinox. Now, this is the time of seasons changing, and as I'm recording this, it's not quite here yet. We're about a week out, but it's coming up, and so we're starting to feel that spring energy. We're starting to feel a little more vibrant. We're starting to feel a little more alive and a little more playful. So that's what I wanted to talk about today, is that seasonal change and what we can do to change our energy for spring. The first thing and the most obvious thing that comes to mind for most people is spring cleaning. And there is a reason for that. We are now coming into a time when our energy is starting to focus more outward. Over the course of fall, we were going inward, and then during winter, it was a season of energetic hibernation, and things are starting to wake up. Things are starting to move more in our energetic lives. And that's paralleled with the outside world. We see that in nature with trees starting to come alive, with flowers starting to perk up. And of course, all of this is dependent on where you live in relation to the weather and things. I know when I was born and grew up in North Carolina, things bloomed earlier in the spring than they do where I currently live in Pennsylvania, because we're further north here. And so things just take a little longer to wake up and perk up. But we're getting into that time, into that energy. So the thing is, when our energy is dormant and slumbering like it is during the winter, what happens there? Dust collects, right? Things are stagnant. Things are not moving. It's like if you're in your home and you do nothing as far as cleaning for an entire season, you're going to have a thick layer of dust. You're going to have grime. You're going to have all kinds of things that just need to be cleaned out. It's the same way in our energetic lives. We've just spent several months in a sleeping state. Metaphorically speaking, our energy has been asleep. Of course, it's not to say that we've not had any energy, we've not done anything, but in general, winter is when we are less energetic and when things slow down in our energy levels. So we have some cleaning that needs to be done. This can be done, obviously, in our physical world too, in cleaning our homes. That is one of the best things you can do. We need to spring clean our energetic lives, but one way to do that is to spring clean our physical surroundings. If you're not one to do a whole lot of cleaning, you may want to re-examine what you do at this time of year. I'm not saying you have to go hog wild and clean every single thing in your house, but the more you clean, the more dust you get rid of, the more dirt you get rid of, the more you move things around, the more it frees up energy to move. So maybe do a little more cleaning than you normally do in your weekly cleaning routine, whatever that is. One thing I like to do during the spring for spring cleaning is to wash my door and wash my porch. There is a lot of winter weather that builds up on my porch and door during the winter, and spring is a wonderful time for cleaning off the grime that comes with snow and sleet and freezing rain and all the things you use to get rid of that. So I like to take warm water and soak herbs in the water to steep those herbs and make an herbal concoction, and then use that to wash my door, my front door inside and out. I also take that water after I wash my door and pour it on my porch and take a stiff bristled broom and sweep that off to get up some of the dirt and some of the grime. And it just makes the energy at the entrance to my home better and flow more easily. Then inside, when cleaning, I like to, during the springtime, open doors, open windows, and light incense, burn herbs, whatever I feel like doing that day, and just get the energy, the stagnant, stale energy out of my house. It's important to do that when it's warm enough that you can open the windows and doors, because if you do it when the doors are closed and the windows are closed because it's cold, or you just don't bother to open them, then all you're doing is moving stagnant energy. You're just moving it around and it has nowhere to go, so it just settles back down either in the same place or another place in the same room. So it's important when you're doing cleansing like that to have the doors open. Wind chimes are another great way to cleanse your energy during the spring. We have these lovely spring breezes that happen at this time of the year, and having wind chimes on your porch or bells on your door, it's a great way to use sound healing for cleansing your energetic space, both your physical space and then your spiritual space within your own body, because we have as without, so within, as above, so below. What we do on the outside, our inner state will mimic and mirror that. And that's why when we have the slower time during the winter, when things are closed down and we don't go out as much, it's darker outside, we don't see as many people, we're not doing as many things outdoors, we have that going on in our outer world, but our inner world within our physical body mirrors that. So that is why spring is such an important time for reawakening, cleansing, and purification within both our physical space, but also within our inner temple of our body. In addition to spring cleaning, one of the things that I love to do this time of year is to get in touch with my inner child. Now, when I think of springtime, I think of the old Disney movie Bambi, and everybody's all Twitter-pated, and you have little children and little animals just hopping around outside, and it's all playful energy. And that playful energy is something that we tend to lose as we get older. But spring is a perfect time to get in touch with that inner child aspect of ourselves. It's a wonderful time to re-explore the things that you enjoyed doing, that you enjoyed reading about, that fascinated you as a child, and just reintroducing yourself to those things. The playfulness that will come through is cleansing for your aura. There's just so much energy that can be released when you get in touch with your inner child. So think back to the things that you enjoyed when you were a child. I know when I was little, I really enjoyed fairy lore, not the scary fairies that I came to know as I got older, but the pretty little fairies that you think of in Victorian era times, little fairies and toadstools, things like that. I really enjoyed that, and unicorns and dolphins and just playful things like that really fascinated me, and I really loved Arthurian legends when I was a child. So spring is a wonderful time for me to get back into exploring those things, maybe reading A Connecticut Yankee in King Arthur's Court, or getting a coloring book of fairies and toadstools and things like that. Reading those children's books that I enjoyed when I was little. Those kinds of things just fill me with a playful energy. And when I do those things during the spring, it just releases that playful energy and brings it back into my life, which I usually lack a lot of times because I am a very analytical person. I am a very type A personality. I am a workaholic Capricorn type. I really enjoy work, but I can get lost in that. And I can get really lost. I mean, I keep saying lost because that's just the word that comes to mind. I can get lost in adulting and get lost in working, and I can lose the focus on who I truly am and think that my value comes through production. But if I go back to remembering and engaging and playing with and nurturing my inner child, then I bring more balance back into my life, and we see better energetic flow there. So just keep in mind that it's all about balance. I'm not saying to stop adulting. I'm not saying to let your responsibilities go, but balance that with the playful energy of your inner child, and you'll have more energetic flow going on. So purification and spring cleaning is a biggie, and then playing and re-engaging your inner child is another. So that is 2 ways that you can approach the vernal equinox and get some energetic flow going on in your life at this time of year. That wraps us up for season 3 of Get Unstuck with Michelle Leffler. And I will be taking a break for 2 weeks. Our first episode of season 4 on April 4th. So enjoy your start to spring, get some cleaning going on, and get some playful energy going on with your inner child. And I will see you on April 4th. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Get Unstuck with Michelle Leffler. It's truly been my pleasure to talk to you today. If you like this episode or you think it will be useful for someone else, please consider leaving a review on your favorite podcast app. If you've got any questions, send me an email to hello@livingmoonmeditation.com. Here's to getting you unstuck so you can be grounded, joyful, and energetic. See you next time.